to this computer. All right, well, today we have a really special treat, and we are going to get a chance to talk with Linda Adcock. For those of you that don't know who she is a missionary in El Salvador, and she's a part of our congregation. She was a part of our church for many years, and so we're her sending church, and she's an awesome friend of ours. Many of you know her with no introduction, but she was unable to come to visit us at Living Proof Church because of COVID this year, and I thought that it would be a great opportunity just to shoot a quick video with her and get to chit chat and let those of you that don't know her get a chance to meet her, and for those of you that already know her and love her, get a chance to see her face and see how she's doing. So I know she can't hear you right now, but everybody give a warm welcome to Linda Adcock. That's the funny things that pastors say. Anyhow, hey Linda, how's it going?
It's going really, really well. Like you said, it was really hard not to be able to come to the States and visit my church family, visit my children, my grandchildren. I even have one great-grandson that was born I haven't met yet. But God's ways are beyond understanding, and he knows what's best. And thank God I didn't have any problems with COVID, and I was only in quarantine maybe 2 months, and the Lord allowed me to do ministry the whole time. And I'm really thankful with the Lord for that, and I know he has big plans for the coming year for all of us that are going to stick to it and be obedient to the call that he's placed in each one of us.
Yeah, awesome. So for those that have never met you before, tell them a little bit about the ministry that you do in El Salvador, and for those that already know you, about some of those new experiences that you've had that you shared with us earlier.
I work, most of my ministry work is done in a clinic in our church, and that's my office. And I have various ministries attached to the clinic ministry. I work there as a nurse, even though I've never studied to be a nurse. The Lord's allowed me to work as a nurse. And so I have a ministry to the street vendors, and we meet every Friday for coffee and a donut. And that's a ministry that we just started last year, and it's growing all the time. And it's, my church wasn't so much in favor of that ministry, so the pastor gave me permission to do it on a trial basis. And now the people all want to be involved in the street vendor ministry. So the Lord is using that ministry to change people's hearts about people that they thought were bad people, and they're finding out, no, there's Christians that are selling things in the streets, and they need a church family too, especially when they're away from home. So that's a new ministry that we added this year. I do the hospital ministry for our church, and we take food to the parents who have children that are undergoing cancer treatments. So we currently give a breakfast on Friday mornings and a dinner on Thursday nights in 2 different locations. One is in the foundation where the children get the chemotherapy treatments, and the other one is the hospital where mostly the children go in to be in hospice care. So right now we can't go in and talk with the parents, but we can continue to be faithful and feed them, because many groups in the COVID time dropped away and stopped bringing food to the hospital. And these are usually parents that have very limited resources, so anything that we bring them, they gratefully receive. And there was a time when the COVID quarantine first started that they didn't have food for 4 days. Wow. So the hospital called me and asked me if I would be interested in picking up extra time. So it's always a blessing to be able, you guys are a help. You always faithfully send a donation every month. So somehow God always puts the money in my hands for the things that he calls me to do. I also work with a pastor that used to be a gang member, and he's planting churches. And with him this year, we're going to start a medical program for the children that come to the children's church. And we're going to put them in control and measure their weight, their height, and their basic health issues, talk with the parents, and we'll be able to make references to the clinic for anything that we detect that we see that needs to be treated. We'll also be giving parasite medicine and vitamins to the kids on a regular basis. And then we're also talking about food supplements for kids that are underweight. One of our partners, her name is Amy. She's a new missionary here, and she kind of adopted me as her missionary mom. And she's into feeding programs. So we're going to incorporate Amy's visions and dreams into our own. And we're going to see it more as a clinic that is the whole wellness of the person, not just a medical exam. We want to make sure they're good spiritually, first of all, emotionally, and physically last. But God has been providing everything we need to go forward with that this year. And if it works out well in this church, we're going to be going there once a month to visit with the kids and check them out. We're going to establish it in other churches with other pastors. So you can be in prayer for that for us, because it's a big step forward. And I also, the other ministry that I do is with Tia Anna and her 16 kids that have been abandoned. And it's called Tia Anna's House. It's not an orphanage. It's not the kids, that's their home. And the Tia is their caregiver. So she's a real close friend of mine. I don't look at it as ministry. I go to visit my friend. But one thing that the Lord showed me is these kids, because of many really traumatic things that have happened in their life, they find it really hard to believe truly in God. So they raise their hand and they receive Jesus. They get Christian education in the Christian school that they go to, but in the profound depth of their heart, they really don't believe that God cares for them. So God has been kind of showing us that I go there every month faithfully, but it's not enough. So he wanted me to start taking the kids out and bringing them home with me so that they could get out and just form a stronger bond with them. So I've been helping with glasses, with dental work. So I have like a schedule of who's next on the list to get some basic care things done. But they love to come, and we do special things when they come, and eventually they get to trust me, and then they open their hearts a little bit more, and then we can talk about the emotional and spiritual things that are deeply, deeply buried in their hearts. So that's going to be expanded this year. We're hoping to take the kids out for VBS and find families to house them for the week, and to start a kind of semi-permanent relationship with these kids so that they can have other families, not just Tia Linda that comes once a month and they all are standing in line to go out with me. We want to expand the program and have more families involved. So pray for that. And the youth pastor at my church also wants me to get the youth from the church involved in this ministry as well. So those are like the big things.
Yeah, that's awesome. It sounds like you never have a chance to sleep with all that's going on. My goodness.
I do. I find hammock time. Trust me.
you have to take those benefits of being in El Salvador, enjoying the weather in the hammock time. Does anybody in our church have a hammock? I doubt it. I don't know if any of us do. So that's awesome. So
just let me know. I'll bring one next time.
That would be awesome. That would be awesome. So yeah, that's really a great overview of what you do, and it gives us a lot to be praying about. And so anything personally that you would just want some prayer about, besides all of lifting up all those ministry things? Personally, that's going out on this live stream.
Personal prayers. For strength, for wisdom, because of course I want to come home, but I want to do it in the Lord's timing. There's also a couple other places that I'd like to visit this year. People have been waiting for a visit. So I would, and I also want to bring some people home with me, a young pastor couple. So they need visas. So if you could please be in prayer for those things, that the Lord would work out all the details, and especially for this young couple, I really, really want to bring them home. They have a lot of friends in the Virginia with the McLean Bible Church, and they have family in the States, and I'm really praying to be able to bring them home. Their names are Kevin and Judith.
Awesome. Definitely. We'll definitely be in.
So those are my personal, and my family, just, not being able to be there ministering to my own family, that God would continue to be faithful ministering to each one of my family members, because we have a lot of unsaved people in my family.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's awesome. You know, we all love Linda, and if you're just meeting her right now, you can see that she's got a heart for people. She's just got such a huge heart. She's like everybody's grandma or everybody's sister, you know, and so she's just so special to us. And me and Linda go way back, because before I was senior pastor, when I was youth pastor, we were doing Sunday school together when there was only a couple kids. And Linda loves to tell the story of one Sunday when I prayed no kids would show up for breakfast. She never lets me live that one down. But you know, it's great to just sit and chat together today, because it's been too long. I was telling Linda earlier when we were talking before we started recording this that I don't know how we've gone through this entire COVID time and I haven't done a video call with her. And so I'm so glad that we were able to do that together today. And I'm glad she agreed to do this so that you guys could all get to see how she's doing as well. She watches our live stream every week, so she's totally up on what's going on at Living Proof. And if you're a part of our Bible reading group, she's, you know, pretty active with us reading through the Bible this year. Are you going to do that again with us next year?
Oh, you don't know because most of the time I live alone. Like this past year, I have a young woman living with me. She's preparing to go to seminary in Fort Worth in January. So she's been living with me, and we only speak English in the house, but on the weekend she goes home. So I read through the Bible every year, but I do it by myself. And there's nobody in my house, family to do it with. So I was so blessed to read the Bible as part of a group this year, and to read other people's comments and feel like reading it together as a family. So for me, it was a huge blessing, and I'm always going to do it. Every year that you say we're going to do it, I'm on your team. Awesome. Because it was a real blessing for me.
Yeah. Awesome. So for some of you that were wondering, who is this Linda lady that keeps posting? Now you're this chance to meet her. We actually know her and love her. And so that's awesome. I hate to put you on the spot. I hate to put you on the spot with this one, Linda, but besides having a big, huge heart for people, you're also a prophetic voice. And so, you know, just what's God been putting on your heart for the church? You know, what advice could you have for us going into 2021? Not the church.
We went through
Living Proof, just the church as a whole. You know,
I can give you personal testimony about that. The church as a whole here went through it was a 2 or 3 day fasting and prayer time, and they sent out a list of all the prayer petitions. And when I went to try to do the petitions that they sent me, I felt the Holy Spirit saying, no, that's not what I need you to focus on. So it's like, okay, speak. So I got my paper and pencil, and there were 4 areas of my life that I felt the Lord wanted to work really profoundly in my heart. And I think it's for all believers. The first one is obedience. It's critical for all of us believers to be obedient. Not wait till the 3rd time God is telling us, because it could cost us our lives right now. And I think we know people. I had one guy that I loved so much, but he was caught in his addictions, but he was still out in the street evangelizing. The last time he came to the clinic, I said, you've got to stop. You have too many girlfriends. You have babies illegitimately, but you're in the street preaching, and God is going to lose his patience with that. He died. The next time I saw him was a video of his funeral. And I warned him, it's time to stop that. We got to obey. We got to obey God's word, and we got to obey the way God wants us to do things, and not wait till the 3rd time he tells us. The second thing was return to your first love, because we as a church have grown lukewarm, and we don't love Jesus like we did when we first came to know him in the honeymoon period of our salvation. We've neglected our first love and the works that go along with that. We're not waiting expectantly like a bridegroom for the groom. We're living in the world and filled with the preoccupations of the world, and we're not getting ready for the bridegroom, for the biggest wedding of our lives. And we need to go back. We need to go back to that first love that we had when we first met Jesus. The third thing was forgiveness. any unforgiveness that you're hiding in your heart, it's time to get rid of it, because we can't be used as a vessel of honor if we've got unforgiveness in our hearts. And the Bible's really clear about that. If we can't extend forgiveness to those that have hurt us, he's not going to forgive us. And if he's not going to forgive us, he can't use us. So we need to examine areas in our own lives where we're still holding on to unforgiveness or rancor or bad feelings, ill will. And if we need to make amends with somebody, if we need to be the first to say, I'm sorry, even though we weren't the cause, we need to do that. And then the fourth thing was basically just loving the Lord with all our heart, with all our mind, with all our soul, with all our strength, because that's what it's going to take to get us to the end of the race. And God has taken many Christians home right now. Many Christians, good Christians, people you can't even understand. Wow, that person's gone. He's taken many home to their rewards because they're not going to finish the race. And if we want to finish the race, that's what it's going to take, is loving the Lord with all our soul, all our strength, all our might, all our everything has to be turned over to the Lord, that he can use us, mold us, clean us, purify us, so that we can be used in these days, because the harvest is ready, but we're not. So that's what I feel the Lord, and that's what he worked on in me over these last 8 months, and it's still a work in progress.
Wow, that's a powerful word. I agree with all of those points. That's right on the money, and I think that's so important. It's like we're in a special ops time, and the church,
exactly.
the church that's going to get used is the church that is, prepared for those special ops, and that means that we got to be obedient. You said, return to our first love, live a lifestyle of forgiveness, and then be loving the Lord with all our heart, soul, mind, and strength. That'll preach. So I don't have to preach this Sunday now because we just got the sermon. That's amazing. That's a really awesome word. I appreciate that. Yeah. Thanks so much for joining us today, Linda. We look forward to your year-end report where we get to, we'll be emailing you asking for that later. We look forward to where we get to read all of the details. You always write such an awesome report and share so many awesome pictures with us. And we look forward to starting the new Bible reading next week with you. And so
yes,
thanks for being
I'm doubling up so I can finish on time.
So you can be ready in time. Awesome. Well, God bless you. Thanks so much for joining us. It's amazing. So anybody wants to connect with Linda, you can do that. Just Facebook is the best way, but if you don't know how, if you're not on Facebook, just email me and I'll get you her email address, and you can connect with her in that way. You don't do a blog anymore, right? Do you still have your blog?
No. I still have, but I stopped. I'm going to start writing again a devotional. It's called Jesus Says. So I was working on the first one this afternoon, so we'll see how that goes. And if that goes, I publish a devotional on my family page. It's private on Facebook. So, and I also send it out on WhatsApp to like 80 different people. But it's a shared devotional. It's something I receive and then I pass on. But I feel like the Lord wants me to actually write one. And it's called Jesus Says.
Awesome.
Or Jesus Said.
Well, if you end up doing that, let me know and we'll share it. We'll share it out with everybody. So,
okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us today, Linda. God bless you.
God bless you too. I love you guys.